This week's episode of The Owl House saw my boy Augustus rise to the occasion for his second episode in a starring role, after season 1 Something Ventured, Something Framed. And in the process, he got kinda overshadowed by the story-oriented Luz and Amity B-plot. Despite this, there's plenty of fun details and Easter eggs to run through on Gus's end, while also unpacking that mysterious backstory at the end of the episode. As always, spoilers ahead. And to stay in the loop with all things Owl House, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the Roundtable so you never miss an upload. We open at Hexside for one of the shortest cold opens in the show's history. Gus was attempting to solve Willow's pixie problem, only to make the situation worse, leaving Willow injured, and Gus ashamed of himself as a result, a feeling that lingers in Gus. From a production or even just a creative standpoint, I do wonder if anything happened that caused his introduction to be so quick to the point. Hexside's reduced appearance in Season 2 makes sense thus far, as originally, Hexside was meant to be a minor location in the series that Disney higher-ups encouraged to have a bigger focus in Season 1. Now that the crew is in Season 2, which is closer to Dana's original vision for the show, it makes sense why they would want to reclaim any screen time that went into the school setting instead. And with everything else going on in the episode, maybe they just didn't want to waste too much time on the setup. Luz and Gus just talking about what happened sounds like a bit of a time saver compared to drawing out everything that actually went down. Storyboarding on them deadlines. Not only does Gus's room have a Bad Girls Coven t-shirt, but Gus has a few knickknacks from Earth on display as well. A toaster, some toy trucks, keys, spatulas, an iPod, a toothbrush, and more. Just a nice nod at his affinity for human beings and the Human Appreciation Club at Hexside. Luz and Gus head to the library so Luz can use Gus's card to visit Amity. And as Gus begins to express his desire to branch out into different types of magic to practice, a slither beast escapes the clutches of a bounty hunter and almost takes out everyone's favorite deep-voiced demon, Braxis. Until the beast is halted thanks to the arrival of the Glandis High students, Bria, Gavin, and Angmar. Braxis is embraced by a familiar-looking demon who's credited as Warden Wrath, the guard who tried to woo Ida in the first episode and got absolutely humiliated by Luz and Youngblood Old Souls. He sounds a bit different here, but that can just be chalked up to voice direction and whatever take they decided to go with. But that being said, one of my favorite side characters is the son of Warden Wrath. That's pretty neat and makes both characters infinitely more wholesome. Gus gets recruited onto the Glandis students' quest, much to the dismay of Matt Fallomeal. And I gotta be honest, I was sketched out the second I realized this was Maddie's old crew at Glandis. While Matt Fallomeal himself is growing as a character, is there a bigger red flag you need than the people he used to associate inviting you on a vague quest? Sure, you're enticed with the promise of the prize, but the details or lack thereof, venturing into a dangerous part of the island, proceed with caution. Not saying every kid at Glandis is a rotten apple. Clearly by the end of the episode, Bria's the one who's the most sour of the four, but I definitely think Gus being down in the dumps clouded his vision a bit. Luz appears with another invisibility glyph, giving us a nod to echoes of the past, and I noticed that the glyph combination itself is illustrated differently than it was last time. For my own lore-hungry brain, I hope we get a close-up of the invisibility glyph sooner than later, providing a definitive design for it. Think of the cosplay novelty! At the library, Luz searches the archives for a trace of the human Gwendolyn told her about, and the oldest article features a colored photograph of a personal diary, donated by the original human resident of the Boiling Isles, Philip Wittenbane. Considering the condition and age of this article, it's odd that this photograph is in color, right? I feel like they wouldn't have done that unless it was to give away a hint, like any familiar color schemes they would use for the diary. I mean, it's brown and gold with white pages. Where have we seen brown, gold, and white before in the show? Oh yeah, that's the exact color scheme of Emperor Belos and the Emperor's Coven. I wonder who Philip is. We also have two instances of Luz speaking Spanish throughout this episode. The first time is prior to her and Amity entering the Forbidden Stacks, in which she says,
No te preocupes, todo va a salir bien.
Which means, do not worry, everything will be fine. And later she says,
Nada funcionará a menos que lo haga funcionar.
Which means, nothing will work unless you make it work. Just neat little details that add so much more to these scenes, especially that second line. Both of these plots are pretty straightforward from here on out. Gus and his crew arrive at the Looking Glass ruins, a clear nod at the Alice in Wonderland novel Through the Looking Glass. Gus realizes that retrieving the Gladder Stones means jacking them from the dead, former illusionists in particular, which the Glandis kids have no gripes with, as they happen to look down upon illusion magic, and it's said to be unaffected by the Gladstones anyways. However, they're interrupted by the Guardian. which just straight up looks like a Pokemon. Gus casts an illusion to counter the Guardian, only to discover that this creature was an illusion of its own, the real Guardian being just a chill old dude, referred to as the Keeper. Now, I wonder if the Keeper is actually going to turn out to be a more prominent character than we're led to believe here, and the reason I say that is because, unlike the bulk of the other characters we've seen throughout the series, he has an altered version of the Illusion Coven symbol on his outfit, one that depicts a different type of mirror with cracked glass. And while I think the crack can be symbolic, alluding to events we may learn of soon, the design of the mirror itself has me wondering if the Keeper used to be the head of the Illusion Coven years ago. We are already seeing new Coven leaders take over between the Golden Guard replacing Lilith in the Emperor's Coven, and Ida's old friend stepping up as the new head of the Bard Coven. So perhaps this geezer has a story to tell, and may pop up again before the season's end. After all, he does leave an open invite for Gus and Bartholomew, the latter of which believes he's a ghost, which could be a hint, you never know. Bartholomew has a change of heart, citing Gus doing him a solid in something ventured, something framed, and the two team up, alongside the Keeper, to get back at Bria and her stooges, casting an illusion over the entire area. Gus's grand illusion reminds me of two moments from Gravity Falls, luring away Agmar with a butterfly, and Gavin with his presumably absent father. Like how in Weirdmageddon Part 2, Seuss is lured away in Mabelland with the illusion of his absent father, taking the form of a wrestler. Though fake dad Gavin's laugh here got a way harder laugh out of me than Seuss's dad in Weirdmageddon.
Wait, when did you grow a mustache? Hey, don't blow this chance.
Afterwards, Gus rains hell upon Bria, by not only making the statues around her come to life and bleed out of their eyes, which reminded me of the infamous mountain animal head scene from Gravity Falls' Northwest Mansion Mystery, but Gus makes this girl's hands crumble away, which could be a reference to the law of an eye for an eye, where if someone robbed you, the punishment would be them losing their hands or something to that effect. The cherry on top, he disguises himself as a bleeding, decaying statue of Bria herself. Gus, you evil little genius. Seriously though, Gus is incredibly powerful to pull all of that off. Gus and Bartholomew have a wholesome ending, slowly crossing the big scary bridge into friendship and head home. Matt referring to Gus as twerp, even though he's now the short one. As for Luz and Amity, Blight's library gig is put on the line, venturing into the Forbidden Stacks under Malthus's nose. The two sneak around, giving shippers all the fuel they need in the process. But when they get their hands on Philip's diary, they find that its insides have been consumed by an Echo Mouse. I guess he was having a forbidden snack. Angering Luz, causing her to scream, and attracting the attention of Malthus, whose true voice is one of the most hilarious reveals in the entire show, hands down.
I'm just super disappointed in you. I can't even process these feelings right now.
Amity gets fired, has an emotional moment with Luz that honestly kind of broke my heart, watching the two of them tear up, and it's up to Luz to make things right. And it was kind of odd yet kind of cool seeing Luz's slicked back hair, without her either being possessed by King, or having an ancient demon to fight at the school's dance. Amity has a heart-to-heart with her siblings, namely Emera, who points out that before Luz came to the Boiling Isles, Amity was miserable, and that these confusing feelings may be a part of a process that leads to something beautiful. Emera also offers to re-dye Amity's hair, but instead of keeping it green, which Odalia always preferred in order to keep her children color coordinated, because she's a psycho, Amity instead decides to dye it purple. Take that, Mom! Which could be inspired by the purple in Luz's clothes, but it also complements the purple in Amity's Abomination uniform. Edric and Emera thinking Odalia is going to be furious of Amity sounds like setup for the next Amity-focused episode. Luz arrives and explains how she fought to get Amity's shot back off screen, and Amity informs Luz that the Echo Mouse retains and records information for anything it consumes, in this case, Philip's diary. First things first, I have no doubts that Philip is Emperor Belos. While the two do have two different voice actors, which I think could be to throw off suspicion, alongside showcasing the physical transformation Belos has endured over hundreds of years, they do sound alike, with identical accents and inflections.
And I found myself in a world so horrid, yet so fantastic. Few minds could have dreamt it.
You do know what happens to covenless witches, don't you?
Not only that, but Philip's ponytail, and general shape of his hairdo, is identical to Belos' own hairstyle, as reflected in fan art Dana herself drew in anticipation for the second season. Sure, this may not technically be canon, but the creator herself drew it, and I don't think that would have been done without a purpose. Philip is smitten by the disturbing yet engrossing world of the Boiling Isles, still searching through the land and also searching for a way home. In particular, Philip wanted those back home to see what he saw, and he believes that the more he learns about the demon realm, the more he can harness its power to return home. It is worth noting that the Titan's skull fades into scene, which I think could imply that the Titan wasn't dead when Belos first arrived. Clearly, the Titan has been there for some time, but considering this is back in the 1600s, I think the Titan just becoming fresh meat is completely in the realm of possibility. Also, comparing this to Belos, the Emperor already kinda has a stranglehold of power on the Boiling Isles in present day. And I know Philip's goal was to return home, but his goal could have changed when he did successfully create a portal home. And it's interesting they made a point to have Philip remark that he wants his home to see the Demon Realm, since Belos is working towards an event called the Day of Unity, with the assistance of a portal. Not just any portal, the portal. I truly don't think this could be anything other than the first big piece of Belos' origin story. From what we know, the goals and timelines can add up, the hairstyles add up, their voices add up. What more do you need? This man may have existed in the 1600s, but Belos was already shown to be weak without the use of palisman blood, as if he's clinging onto life. As if he's been alive for a long time. This scene itself has also given me a pretty good idea of what the Day of Unity could be, which I'm excited to dive into at a later point in time. And this episode ends with the sweetest cherry on top. Luz and Amity share a special moment as Amity gives her an unexpected peck on the cheek, melting Luz's heart in the process. Ain't young love just the best? But as always, these are just my thoughts and I want to hear yours. What did you think of this episode? Which storyline did you enjoy more? Let us know in the comments down below or tweet your thoughts over at Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at Fox. We're also on Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, please sort of like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.